Are you drowning in anxiety? Buddha would say, let go now, or get dragged under. We live in a world full of noise and worries, but Buddha's simple wisdom can help you find calm. In this video, I'll show you easy ways to spot anxious thoughts and let them go before they pull you down. Miss these tips and you stay stuck. Watch on and find your peace. Part 1. The Seed of Anxiety. Siddhartha Gautama was a prince. He had fancy clothes, tasty food, and loyal servants. But inside, he felt uneasy. His mind was restless. His heart was not at peace. Then he stepped outside his palace walls. He saw old age. He saw sickness. He saw death. These sights hit him like a sudden storm. He realized that life isn't as perfect as he once believed. Back in his palace room, the prince worried. His thoughts spun like a wheel. Why do people grow old? Why do they suffer? Is there a way to escape pain? These questions filled his mind day and night. He could no longer pretend that life was always smooth or bright. He knew better now. You and I may not be royalty, but our world also presses in on us. We have busy schedules, scary news headlines, and endless notifications. We scroll through social media and compare our lives to others. We feel the weight of each new worry. Just like the young prince, our anxious thoughts never stop knocking. That's often how anxiety begins. When we notice that life isn't perfect, we want everything to be fine. We long for safety, control, and comfort. But truth hits us like a shock. People get sick, jobs end, friendships fade. It feels scary. Our hearts pound faster, our stomachs tighten. Yet here is the big secret. This truth can teach us something powerful. Buddha, as Siddhartha came to be known, used this shock of seeing suffering to spark his search for answers. He let his anxiety drive him to learn more about the world. He decided to ask, how can I find real peace? And in time, he found a path that led him beyond worry and fear. We can do the same. Our anxiety might be a signal that something needs our attention. It reminds us that life can be hard, but that truth, instead of crushing us, can lead us to grow. Think of a seed breaking open under the soil. That crack can feel scary, but it's the start of a new life. It's the seed's first step toward becoming a strong plant. That is the seed of anxiety. It's the moment we wake up to life's pains, but it's also the doorway to wisdom. Once we see the cracks, we can learn how to heal. Once we admit life isn't perfect, we can start our own journey toward peace. Part 2. Buddha's Radical Realization. Buddha left his palace. He gave up fancy clothes, tasty meals, and soft pillows. He wanted answers, so he went into the forest. There he tried extreme things. He fasted for days. He barely slept. He even held his breath until his head spun. His body grew weak. His thoughts became cloudy. He felt stuck in a new kind of pain. He thought, is this the way to peace? I left one extreme, comfort in the palace, for another extreme, punishing my body. But I still feel lost. One day, he nearly passed out by a quiet stream. A kind person offered him a bowl of rice. He ate. He rested. He felt his energy return. Then he had a spark of insight. He remembered a music lesson he once watched. The teacher told the student, if you tighten the string too much, it breaks. If you leave it too loose, it makes no sound. The right tension, somewhere in between, lets the music play. This memory hit Buddha like a burst of light. He realized both overindulgence and harsh denial cause suffering. Neither path leads to peace. The answer, he thought, must be in the middle. This was his middle way. It meant not drowning in too many luxuries, but also not hurting yourself with too many rules. It meant finding balance. It meant treating your body with care, but not spoiling it. It meant facing your mind's worries, but not letting them run wild or push you down. We can learn from this. We often swing between two extremes when we deal with anxiety. Sometimes we fight it like an enemy. We battle our thoughts and try to force them away. Other times we ignore or run from them. We hide under blankets, hoping the fears will vanish. But both ways can add more stress. It's like pulling a rope too tight or dropping it all together. The middle way says, look at your anxiety, see it clearly, accept that it exists, then let it pass. This idea may feel strange at first, but it can bring relief. You don't have to fight or flee. You can stand gently in the center, meeting your feelings with compassion. That calm space is where real change begins. Our worries grow when we take extreme measures, obsessing or avoiding. Buddha's big insight helps us find balance. In that balance, we discover a path that gently leads us to peace. Part 3. Letting go versus drowning in fear. Attachment leads to suffering. This is a key lesson in Buddhism. It sounds simple, but it has deep power. Imagine holding a burning coal in your hand. The longer you hold it, the more it hurts. And yet sometimes we refuse to let go. Think about your anxious thoughts. They may be fears about tomorrow. They may be worries about money or health. We often clutch these worries so tightly. We replay them in our heads again and again. We feel them burn, but we grip harder, hoping we can somehow control them. All we do is burn ourselves more. Here's the first step to letting go. Name the anxiety, write it down, or say it out loud. This makes your worry real and clear rather than some shadow in your mind. You might say, "I'm scared I'll fail my test," or "I'm worried about my family's health." By naming it, you shine a light on it. That alone weakens its hold. Next, take a short mindful pause. Close your eyes for a moment. Slowly breathe in, then breathe out. Picture the burning coal in your hand. Imagine dropping it to the ground. You can even wiggle your fingers as you do this. Feel the relief. Feel the release. Visualize that pain fading away. Notice how your body responds. You might feel your muscles relax or your chest lighten. Of course, letting go may not happen right away. You might keep thinking about that problem. Your worry could return later. That's okay. Each time it comes back, repeat the steps. Name the thought. Take a slow breath. Drop the coal. Over time, you train your mind. You teach it to see that anxious thoughts can be noticed and released, not clutched until they burn you. Holding on to anxious thoughts is like gripping a flaming rock. Your hand will blister if you don't let go. Buddha's wisdom says we suffer when we attach too strongly. Letting go is not being careless or lazy. It's freeing yourself from thoughts that harm you. Anxiety can drown us if we keep clinging. Recognize your anxious thoughts. Picture them as burning coals, then gently drop them. Awareness plus a moment of deliberate release can stop fear from growing bigger and bigger before it pulls you under. Part 4. Embracing impermanence. Buddha once said that everything changes. Nothing stays the same forever, not our joys, not our sorrows, not even the worries that seem huge in our minds. Imagine a sky filled with passing clouds. Some are dark and stormy, others are white and fluffy, but no cloud stays in one place for long. It moves, it shifts, it fades. Our anxious thoughts work the same way. One moment, we feel panic rising, our hearts race, our heads spin with what ifs. But then that feeling can soften. It might come back. It might not. The important thing to remember is that anxiety, like a cloud, will not stay forever. It cannot. It changes. When you feel that knot of fear in your stomach, try this simple step. Tell yourself, this will pass. Everything does. Take a gentle breath in, then breathe out. If you need a quick mantra, repeat, all things arise and all things fade. These words remind you that your anxious moment has a lifespan. It was born and it will end. This shift in thinking can loosen fear's grip. Anxiety seems scary when we imagine it never ending. But when we realize that it is just another part of life's flow, we can ride it out. Think of a surfer on a wave. They don't fight the water. They go with it, knowing the wave will eventually roll back into the sea. Remember this, bad times do not last. Neither do the good times. Everything changes, and that is both sad and beautiful. Let it calm your racing mind. Let it bring you a sense of peace. Anxiety loses power when you see it as a passing cloud, not an endless storm. Recognizing impermanence helps you let life flow instead of clinging to fear. Part 5. Action through compassion. Buddha's kindness was not just for the world around him. He first learned to be gentle with himself. After his great awakening, he noticed a surprising truth. You can't help others if you're always angry at your own mind. You can't share warmth if your own heart is frozen by self-criticism. So, he started with self-compassion. When we feel anxious, it's easy to blame ourselves. We might think, why can't I handle this better? What's wrong with me? But harsh words make anxiety worse. It's like pouring fuel on a fire. The flames only grow. Instead, we can try a softer approach. We can treat ourselves as we would treat a dear friend. Here's a simple way to begin. Take 30 seconds to do a quick compassion meditation or self-talk. Find a quiet spot, close your eyes, take a slow breath, then gently say these words. May I be free from this anxiety. May I find peace. May I be kind to myself. Speak them slowly, letting each phrase sink in. You might feel silly at first, but keep going. Notice if your shoulders relax or if your breathing becomes calmer. This small shift can ease the panic inside. It's like pouring cool water on a hot stone. Remember, you can't hate your anxiety away. That only makes you more tense. Compassion is different. It meets fear with warmth. It does not deny the worry, but it softens its edges. Over time, anxiety becomes less sharp, less overwhelming. It's still there, but it no longer feels like a raging beast. Once you've tried this for yourself, share kindness with others. Do a small act of service. Send a kind message. Offer help to a neighbor. When you care for someone else, your mind takes a break from worrying about you. This break can be a welcome relief. It can also build a healthy habit of looking outward rather than staying locked in fear. Compassion is a soothing balm for an anxious mind. Start by being kind to yourself. Then let that kindness shine on the people around you. In this way, compassion becomes a powerful tool against the grip of worry. When we replace harshness with warmth, we unlock a gentle path to calm. We've covered a lot. The middle way, the power of noticing our worries, and the magic of compassion. These three ideas form a strong trio. Find balance, let go of what hurts, and show yourself kindness. Anxiety is not your enemy, it's a signal. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more ancient wisdom and modern action steps. And please share your thoughts below.